very warm welcome to Newsfeed on this 4th day of March 2023. You're just in time for the lunchtime news, and we have so much lined up for you on our bulletin this afternoon. Remember, you can always interact with us on our social media handles indicated at the bottom of your screen. Now, with that said, my name is Dennis Otieno. I trust you're doing well. Welcome to the broadcast. Now on to our top story this afternoon. A section of leaders from Rift Valley have condemned the Supreme Court judgment on LGBTQ rights to association, terming the ruling as disrespectful to African tradition and culture. Speaking at Kolowa High School in Tiati, Baringo County, Area Member of Parliament William Kamket termed the ruling as a catalyst to erosion of morals, adding that members of Parliament are seeking to subdue the verdict in Parliament. His Kapenguria counterpart Samuel Moroto warned the highest court in the land against what he termed as misleading the nation by embracing Western practices that are contrary to the Christian faith and African values. This comes 2 days after the Muslim community in Eldama Ravine called for other denominations to join them for a peaceful demonstration to protest the ruling by the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court imeleta mambo ya ajabu. Na mimi nasimama hapa kama mjumbe wenu. Wameleta sheria ama maono kwamba ati sasa mwanaume anakubaliwa kuoa mwanaume mwenzake. Ati mwanamke anakubaliwa kuoa mwanamke mwenzake. Si haya sasa hiyo itakuwaje? Si ni hayo ni maneno ya kishetani. Hii maneno ya kujaribu kuharibu morals ya community zetu, kwamba hiyo maneno hatukubali na tunakataa na tunakemea.
Katika culture yetu, utamaduni, hata wajana kwanza mambo ya kusema religious nini. Mungu hata ukisoma katika Biblia anasema aliumba mwanadamu. Na baadaye akaona huyo ako peke yake, alianza mwanamume. Ndiye akatoa mbavu moja. Kwa hivyo ingine ambaye imetokea hii si ya Kenya.
Kuna vitu ambavyo hata haistahili kusemwa, wacha hata ile kufanywa. Hii ya kusema mwanamume na mwanamume, mwanamke na mwanamke ni vitu ambavyo haistahili hata kusemwa kwa mdomo.
Meanwhile, female engineers in Kenya under the Institute of Engineers of Kenya have embarked on a mission to mentor young girls into taking up STEM subjects while in high school. 1,000 girls at Moi Girls High School, Nairobi, inspired by the lady engineers, enrolled in mentorship programs that will guide them into working towards the engineering course. To achieve a sustainable engineering for a more sustainable world, engineer Dr. Damaris Oyaro says that there is need to have more ladies in the industry to come up with innovations that suits best the needs of women and girls in the society.
Today, to celebrate the World Engineers Day. This is a day that's being celebrated all over, and this is just the beginning of the series that we are going to have here in Kenya. The theme for this year is Engineers Innovation, and this is targeting the sustainable goals. How do our innovations achieve towards the sustainable goals? So today we chose to have a mentorship so that we can bring in the girl child into the engineering field. We realize that the ratio of ladies to men in engineering is very low. And for us to have sustainable innovation, we need to look at both sides. The ladies and the gentlemen, we all have our own perspectives according to how we are oriented to work in nature.
Teachers and parents from West Pokot County have expressed concern over junior secondary school transition dilemma. Speaking to TV47, Julius Murray, the head teacher at Chelomo Bay Primary, says the system is facing a lot of challenges in the county, confirming that the school has been forced to purchase learning material from shops due to inadequate supply of basic needs like books. Another parent said the schools are also facing scarcity of teachers, a challenge that the Teachers Service Commission has not been able to address since the introduction of competency-based curriculum CBC. They are now calling on government to move with speed and help salvage the situation.
Hatujapata vitabu kutoka kwa serikali. Tumepata vitabu viwili tu ya Kiingereza, that is English and life skills. Those are the only books that we have received by now. So tunaona kwamba kufunza imekuwa ngumu, ila shule tumefanya shughuli, tumeenda kununua vitabu kutoka kwa bookshops ambazo walimu wanatumia kama reference books kufunza wanafunzi.
Tunaomba mambo ya transition, mambo ya junior secondary, kwamba serikali iwe na mipango ambayo iliyo bora kwa watoto wetu. Maana mpaka saa hizi watoto hawajasoma, hakuna vitabu, hakuna walimu wa kutosha, mashule madarasa hayapatikani, na ile hali tunaambiwa kwamba sasa shule imeng'oa nanga. Tunaomba waziri wa elimu Ezekiel Machoku pamoja na wale ambao mnashikilia nyanja za elimu, msaidie kuangalia, mufika West Pokot, muangalie mashule zinapatikana. Maana saa hizi watoto wanateseka sana, hawana masomo.
And on the same breath, a section of legislators led by National Assembly Minority Leader Opiyo Wandayi are calling for immediate suspension of the competency-based curriculum, saying that the future of the pioneers is bleak due to haphazard implementation. Addressing a public barasa at Ugunja constituency, lawmakers including Lugari Member of Parliament Nabii Nabwera, his Mumias East counterpart Peter Salasia, and Migori Senator Eddie Okech said there was need for an urgent national dialogue to address emerging issues in the education system. The government has been blamed for failure to release funds for recruitment of teachers and construction of classrooms and laboratories for successful implementation of CBC. The MPs also noted that the recent admission by the Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu that more than 160,000 pupils have failed to transit to junior secondary school and Form 1 was a pointer to the problems bedeviling the education sector.
We cannot continue to experiment with our children. We cannot continue to use our children as guinea pigs. And therefore, the only logical thing that the state must do is to admit that this system has failed to take off. It has failed to take off. Let us eat our humble pie and revert back to the old system by giving ourselves ample time, 2-3 more years, to consider how we can implement it in the future. Hata CBC wameshindwa kutoa pesa kuandika walimu. Wameshindwa kuleta pesa tujenge mahabara. Wameshindwa kuleta pesa tujenge madarasa. Kazi yao ni kulaumu Uhuru. Mambo ya CBC, we need a quick stakeholders meeting. Na si tafadhali tuelezane ukweli, tusiharibu masomo ya nchi hii.
CBC nyinyi mmesikia saa hii tunalipia watu wa high school, watoto wa high school. Lakini sasa CBC hawa tutawasaidia, hawana classes, hawana walimu, yani wako tu. Sasa mimi nakuunga uende wakati unapeleka hiyo, mimi pia nitaku.
Now, to matters insecurity in the country, TRT Member of Parliament William Kamket has called on the Interior Ministry to review the curfew imposed in areas which have been declared dangerous. Speaking in Kolowa High School in TRT constituency, the MP noted that the curfew imposed in the area, especially in towns such as Chemolingot, Kolowa, Tangul Bay, and even Kapsowar, has affected innocent people who cannot carry out their businesses. On his part, Kolowa MCA Solomon Makal urged the government to step up its measures to ensure total disarmament, this being the third week of the police KDF-led operation. Now, the residents and leaders opine that little has been achieved in restoration of peace as bandits continue to wreak havoc in different parts of the areas in Kerio Belt.
Mambo ya curfew haiwezi fanya kwa center kama Kolowa. Mambo ya curfew haiwezi fanya kwa center kama Loiwat, center kama Ngoron, center kama Chemolingot. Curfew inatosha mali na sub locations na iwe tu kwa mipaka mali iko shida. Na hata hao askari ambao wametumwa na Rais Ruto, sidhani kama watakuja kuishi kwa masenta kama ile ilikuwa ya Uhuru.
Tunataka mambo ya uhalifu ikome. Si nilisema namna hiyo? Muhalifu yeyote, hakuna kabila. Muhalifu, wewe ni jirani Marakwet, wewe ni jirani Mturkana, wewe ni mhalifu Msamburu, wewe ni mhalifu Mpokot, wote wale. Hakuna mhalifu ambaye akona jina. Mhalifu ni mhalifu. Hakuna kabila ambaye ni kabila la wahalifu.
Elsewhere, Ahadi Kenya Chief Executive Officer Stanley Kamau wants the government to initiate a program that will help acquire statistics of all the individuals affected by jiggers in the country and put in place preventative measures that will help reduce the effect. Speaking during the Jigger Awareness Campaign in Huisero constituency, Kakamega County, Kamau pointed out on the western, coastal, Nyanza and central regions are the most affected with jiggers. Now, according to the leaders, it is better that health sector is maintained as a devolved function, considering the fact that many county governments have made tremendous positive contribution towards eradicating jiggers among the community.
Since we have had a very prolonged drought, I think the issue of jiggers infestation has gone up by almost 15%. Western Kenya is one of the leading regions in this country, followed by coastal region, then central Kenya, Nyanza. Those are the top 4 regions that are heavily infested with jiggers. We are not even sure how many people within this county government of Kakamega or within the county of Kakamega are infested with jiggers. We are still young in devolution, but I think if county governments are given enough resources, I'm sure they can be able to tackle the health issues.
As a government, of course, now we'll have to make plans on how to have that census in place so that we can know who is involved, who is affected and who is not affected, so that at least we can know what is the extent.
Mimi nilijaribu kuuliza dawa hii vitu nikaambiwa afadhali nioshenge tu mzuri alafu nachukua mafuta ya ng'ombe ya kukamua mang'ombe hii. Ndio mimi napakanga. Hizi vitu zimeisha. Hii kukua hivi.
And to matters drought in the northeastern parts of the country, many schools in Isiolo County are facing the difficult task of keeping learners in class, with children from many parts of Isiolo facing multiple challenges due to the drought situation. Isiolo Member of Parliament Momina Bonaya has reiterated the need for efforts to be directed towards the issuance of sanitary towels and enhancement of school feeding programs to keep learners in school. According to Momina, there is need for change of policy to allow the office of the women MPs to be in charge of issuing government sanitary towels instead of the Ministry of Education, which is currently in charge of the program. Caroline Mugo, the Isiolo County Director for Education, lauded the move to issue sanitary towels and urged other stakeholders to chip in and promote efforts to ensure 100% transition and retention of learners in school.
We hardly get conversation that talks about menstrual hygiene. And menstrual hygiene cannot be complete without provision of sanitary pads. We do understand Ministry of Education is mandated to provide sanitary pads to schools, but I think the challenge has always been delay. It is unnecessarily delayed. Right now, since we've opened the school, they are yet to receive sanitary pads. I think the last consignment that they received was from my office. So Isiolo County is yet to receive any piece, and I want to thank our partners, LVIA, for supporting this agenda of ensuring that there is hygiene and there is good care when it comes to menstrual space and conversation that we are
used to upscale provision of water in the schools within the county, tracking of water, and also some organizations are planning to have food for fees in our institutions so that we can be able to make sure that our children are retained in our institutions. And we are also mopping up the students so that we can make sure that we have 100% transition. Despite the drought situation in this county, there's a lot of effort, especially on provision of food, provision of water in our institutions, and I believe that all these are going to bear positive results. There is no child who should be out of school.
Private healthcare providers in Embu County have decried discrimination by insurance providers after they were withdrawn from the National Hospital Insurance Fund. Dr. Robert Njagi from the Mbere Embu Health Private Health Providers Association, MEMPA, has lamented that since the devolved unit withdrew its members of staff from NHIF, members have been facing challenges to access medical services. He added that some sub-counties lack registered health facilities, which forces residents to travel for long distances to access emergency medical services. Njagi also noted that all county workers, including teachers and disciplinary forces, were exempted from NHIF and are unable to get treatment at private hospitals.
Wakati tulikuwa tunahudumia kupitia NHIF, tunaona resources zinakuwa distributed vizuri. Kwa hivyo ombi letu kama mahospitali ya binafsi ni kama ni lazima wapaki kwa hiyo insurance, wa intervene, waambie watuweke kwa hiyo orodha yao, kwa sababu kupata orodha si rahisi. Wengine wanasema hospitali ile wako nayo ni wametosha, yet ni moja ama mbili siko eneo hili, ama warundishwe NHIF, si hata NHIF na serikali.
Being able to arrest people who are stealing drugs from the public sector with less than 2 million. That tells you it's a syndicate, it's a cartel that is working within us. So for us to be able to ensure that commodity security in this country and working together, knowing that, as Professor is saying, the more drugs are stolen, the more we look for avenues to collect more revenue from everyone who is working there.
Meanwhile, religious leaders from Malindi and Kilifi County have sensitized residents on the dangers of human trafficking as the counties of Mombasa, Kilifi and Tana River continue to report an increase in the cases. Addressing the press in Malindi town, the leaders through the Religious Against Human Trafficking organization have warned that the business of human trafficking is illegal in the country and that lack of proper sensitization is the main reason for the surge in cases, further calling on residents to report any suspected cases of human trafficking.
Lazima tuwahimize watu wetu ya kwamba hii biashara hiko na lazima wajiadhari, ndio tuwafundishe vizuri, ndio tupunguze, tusimamishe hii mambo inaendelea.
Cases hazikui reported kwa sababu wananchi hawajahamasishwa kujua, je, unapodhulumiwa unaongea na nani? Kwa sababu hiyo, RAT, that is Religious Against Human Trafficking, wako na toll free number ambapo ukiwa kila mahali ukipiga utapata msaada na usaidizi.
Our main mandate ni kuhakikisha kwamba communities are safe. We ensure that children are safeguarded na wametunzwa. Na mwisho ni kuhakikisha kwamba wale ambao wanapitia mambo ya ulanguzi ama biashara binadamu wanaweza kupata usaidizi ambao unastahili na kwa wakati ambao unastahili na kwa dharura ambao inastahili.
Now, the Security Committee in Busia County has embarked on a mission to erect roadblocks at the Busia border post from Monday next week so as to stop any counterfeit goods from being ferried into the country from the neighboring country of Uganda. According to Busia Deputy Commissioner Kipchumba Ruto, many businessmen have been illegally transporting goods in and out of the country, further confirming that the counterfeit products from Uganda have made their way in the country, especially through Marachi, Sofia, Angundos and Adungos area. The move is aimed at recovering tax revenue for the county of Busia.
We are going to work as all one government approach, a multi-agency approach. And we are going to man also SUO, roadblock, as a multi-agency exercise, not police alone, even Nambale. All of them, they'll be there, including the NCAO, all the border management committee members. They'll be in those roadblocks. And then we shall remove the issue of one State Department being blamed for perpetrating corruption at the border and collecting maybe bribes. We have warned everybody not to attempt, every state officer, county, national, state agencies, not to attempt to abet, to aid, and even to block this exercise.
Ombi kwa wanabusia na kwa wanakenya wote ni kwamba tuwe wazalendo. Jambo hili halitakuwa rahisi. Linahitaji tujitolee wahanga kabisa, manake tukilipa ushuru katika nchi yetu, katika kaunti yetu, ushuru huo utatupatia matumizi ama kuwezesha kaunti na serikali za kitaifa kutoa huduma nzuri kwa wananchi wake.
Elsewhere, traders in Madaraka Market in Thika, Kiambu County are up in arms after they were allegedly conned hundreds of thousands of shillings in a SACCO scheme. The wrangles between the traders and the SACCO leaders is said to have started in the year 2021 when the government launched a crackdown targeting potato traders and transporters, violating the 50 kilograms rule in the packaging of Irish potatoes. After the implementation of the new regulations kicked off, it is alleged some traders at the market were duped to hire a lawyer to oppose the government's bid, a move that saw over 50 of them contribute 10,200 shillings each. Money that is said to have ended in the pockets of a few leaders with nothing to show for it. The traders, however, insist that the current traders should be allowed to continue operating without external interference for peaceful coexistence.
Pesa za watu karibu 200 na kitu, sijui 600. Wakichukua 10,000 na hizo pesa hadi wa leo hawasemagi kule walipeleka.
Mimi mmoja wa ile 10,000 nilitoa. Na ni mimi ndio nialika watu wa bushi, watu 31, 310. Na nauliza kuziona ilikuwa 1,300. Tena tuonyeshwe ile kitu pesa yetu ilinunua ndio turidhike.
Hii soko si ya familia fulani. Hii ni ya Wakenya. Hawa watu wajue pesa za watu watarudisha, na hiyo sako yao ya ukora wajue tutaifuata na tutawaweka ndani. Si wafichi, hawa ni waizi. Wametukura pesa 10,200, tena wameenda wakarejesta sako yao wakiwa 10.
Kama huna bahati huwezi ukauza. Sasa nataka hii mkutano ikiisha, tafadhali kabla tusubiri tu hiyo mkutano ya nini ya hiyo kuchaguana, mtu onyesha mahali sisi tutakuwa tunauzia, kwa sababu kila mtu anategemea hii soko. Watoto wetu wanajua utamu wa hii soko.
Nyanza Regional Commissioner Zipora Moroa has led national government administration officers in Kisii County through a tree planting exercise in a move geared towards realizing ample tree cover as directed by President William Ruto. She, however, appealed to the officers to handle the emotive land matters in the county with caution to avert any disasters. Now, County Forest Conservator Wellington Daka noted that the campaign in the area had managed to reach over 500,000 trees during this financial year, although he anticipated to reach 1.5 million by the end of it. Daka said Kisii forest cover currently stands at 15.03%, with a tree cover of 26.6%. He explained there were over 10 million seedlings produced by KFS, that is the Kenya Forest Service, the community and the private sector, with over 1.5 million set to be planted during the current rains, and which will contribute to the achievement of 30% tree cover in the next 4 years.
Before then, we had an engagement with the national government administrative officers, and I have encouraged them to ensure that each chief plants 3,000 trees per month. We also encourage them to make a follow-up on the trees that they plant so as to make sure that they grow well, because planting trees is one thing and growing them properly is another thing. I'm also happy for the collaboration that we are having with the Kenya Forest Service. We want to work together even with the other stakeholders, members of the public and other civil servants, to ensure that we have planted enough trees so as to mitigate the effects of climate change in our country.
Financial year, over 500,000 trees in the short range, and we are anticipating to plant over 1.5 million trees this coming financial year. In Kisii, we are at forest cover of 15.03% and tree cover of 26.6%. And the seedling production, both by Kenya Forest Service, other agents and the community and the private sector, we have over 10 million seedlings, of which we anticipate to plant here in the county in the next coming rain over 1.5 million tree seedlings.
Now to Kirinyaga County, where a mother in Riagisheru village in Mwea is seeking justice from relevant authorities after she was allegedly forced out of her matrimonial home by her husband. The woman says she has spent 26 years developing the home and raising her family, something she considered as an investment, only to be denied access. The woman is now accusing her husband, who is a retired police officer, for mistreatment, calling upon the government to offer her security as she seeks to access her properties, including title deeds which are in their matrimonial house in Mwea, Riagisheru village.
Vile nilifukuzwa kwa nyumba, sikuweza kutoa hata nini kwa hiyo nyumba yangu. Nilitoka asubuhi nikienda kazi. Nimeng'ang'ana nione kama naweza pata kitu kwa hiyo nyumba yangu, my personal documents, my personal property zote, mataito zangu zote ziko kwa hiyo nyumba, na amenikataria access to that house of mine. By the end of the day, mimi nilichapwa huko na brother yake ambaye anaitwa James Moshera Njinjo. Mimi nipewe security, niweze kuaccess vitu zangu. Niaccess vitu zangu kwa hiyo nyumba, lakini sielewi vile siwezi ingia kwa nyumba yangu, siwezi ingia kwa compound yangu. Ati sababu amefunga gate, amefunga kila kitu. Mimi naomba justice, naomba ukweli. Naomba justice kwa serikali nisaidiwe. I'm a government officer. I've worked for so many years. I've been a very faithful woman in that house. Nimetunza hiyo